بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My brothers and sisters in Islam, today we want to speak about the best house you can build on earth, and that is to build a masjid, to build a house for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so from among the most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one of the ways to secure a house for yourself in the paradise is to build a house for Allah, to build a masjid. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says in an authentic hadith, "Man bana lillahi masjida, bana Allahu lahu baytan fil jannah." Man bana lillah, whoever, whether male or female, whether young or old, whoever builds a masjid for Allah, sincerely for Allah's sake, he builds this masjid here on earth. What's the reward? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will build for him a house in the paradise. Allahu Akbar, look at the difference. You build for Allah a house on earth, a masjid, and Allah Azza wa Jal, in replacement, in reward, He will give you a house, an everlasting house in the paradise. Allahu Akbar. What a beautiful transaction it is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this hadith, we can observe Karamullahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. We observe the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this hadith. So congratulations to the one who saves up his money on a weekly basis or monthly basis or yearly basis or whatever it is. He saves this money in the intention of building for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a masjid, a house for Allah on earth. My brothers and sisters in Islam, and the one who builds a masjid doesn't only get a house in the paradise. In addition to this, listen to how beautiful this is. Every single salat that takes place in this masjid, every ruku', every sujood, every letter of the Quran that's recited in this masjid, every dhikr, every dua, every lesson, every khutbah, any form of worship, every donation, any form of worship that takes place within this masjid, then the one who built it or contributed towards building it will also earn a share of the reward of all those people that worshipped Allah Azza wa Jal in this masjid. Allahu Akbar. You know what this means? This means throughout your entire life, you're earning hasanat so long as people are benefiting and worship Allah in this masjid. And at the same time, when you pass away, the hasanat haven't stopped. It's like a river of hasanat continues to flood in your grave, and you're earning all these hasanat so long as people are worshipping Allah in this masjid that you built or contributed towards. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said in an authentic hadith, "Man bana lillahi masjidan walau kamifhasi qatat, bana Allahu lahu baytan fil jannah." Allahu Akbar. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that if a person was to build for Allah, for Allah's sake, this lillahi is implying sincerity, that the masjid must be built sincerely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for any kind of recognition or for some kind of worldly position or for some kind of reward from someone. Lillah, it must be sincerely built for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. That's the intention. وَلَوْ كَمِفْحَصِ قَطَاطٍ, even if the size of this masjid was the nest of a bird. Mifhas qatat, a qatat is a type of bird. It's like a pigeon. It lives in the desert, and when it builds its nest, obviously this bird's nest is called mifhas. That's what it's called, and it's called as such because the word mifhas comes from the word fahasa, and fahasa means to scratch the earth. So this type of bird that lives in the desert, when it wants to lay its eggs, it digs a small hole in the earth and it lays its egg. That's mifhas qatat, that's the nest of that bird. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who says, whoever builds a masjid sincerely for Allah, even if it was the size of a bird's nest, Allahu Akbar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala builds for him a house in the paradise. And this, when the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned the size, this is an emphasis. He's emphasizing the small size, meaning it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how small this masjid is. It doesn't matter how small your contribution tonight is for this masjid. Doesn't matter how small the contribution is. Even if it was as small as a bird's nest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will build for such a person a house in the paradise. Ulama, the scholars, rahimahumullah, they said that if
بسم رب شهدا و صالحین اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم. هزار گرامی محسن سمیدان جوانان و نوجوانان السلام علیکم و رحمت الله و برکاته. آرزوی سلامتی شما را از خداوند منان تقاضامند است. پسند است جهت تزیین و آبادی مسجد الله گد هم جمع شده. بنیاد خیریه دانش و افتخار خرید صف مسجد حضرت حمزه ولایت پروان و رسولی سیاگد و قربان قریه میخوان خیلی دارند. کسایی که در ایام خیر ما را کمک نوری نمودند، خانم فرشته غنی و خانواده محترمشان به مبلغ 800 پوند، دکتر سیف معروف به مبلغ 300 پوند، آقای سیف فتا به مبلغ 25 پوند، آقای سیف مختار به مبلغ 20 پوند و سایر کسانی که صحیح مثلا پروردگار برشان عزیز دنیایی و خیری نصیب بگرداند. السلام علیکم و رحمت الله و برکاته.
they built a house for Allah, they built a masjid, and each one of them was to contribute the size of a bird's nest. What's that? Yani even if everyone was to contribute 5 centimeters squared, maybe 10 centimeters squared, Allah Azza wa Jal will be built for each one of these 100 people a house in the paradise. Subhanallah, karamullahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is implying the generosity of Allah. You can observe it in this hadith. Allahu Akbar.